Hello. In this video, I will show you how you can request pre-authorization on the Healthstack platform. So I'm going to log in as a hospital provider. We'll go to finance module. As you can see, under the finance module, there are sub-menus such as authorization, bill services, claims, collections, and what have you. Now, if you're requesting pre-authorization, you click on the authorization submenu, which is this one. Now, you can see a list of previous pre-authorization requests that have been made over time. You can see the date it was made, the patient name, the state of the patient, outpatient or inpatient, the sponsor, the HMO, the status of that request, the tasks, if any. This does not apply, the number of services you are requesting authorization for, total amount, and the comment you have made in your pre-authorization request. I'm going to click on Add New Pre-authorization to make a new pre-authorization request. First, you want to search the patient. What patient are you making pre-authorization request for? I'm going to use a patient that's registered at this hospital. So you see I've just searched with the first name, and then there's the patient's details. Now you can see the patient's payment information here. The HMO is Anchor, the plan is Gold, the enrollee ID, the principal name, the principal ID. Now, what's the priority for this request? Is it low, medium, high, or emergency? Let me say high. And the patient type is inpatient. So this patient is an inpatient. Once you select the patient type, what happens is it takes you to the appointment date for which you are requesting pre-authorization for. So let's assume the date we are currently on is this particular date here. So I'll just click that. You can add a complaint. So you would want to find out from your HMO officer if this is a required field. The calendric duration. So you can see that the calendric duration is days, weeks, months, and years. So how did the patient complain? Okay, let's say this patient has been having a headache for about 3 weeks now, and I'll save. So you can add more than one complaint. Let's say fever. And what's the calendric duration for this fever? Let's say 3 days. This patient has had fever. Now, let's move on to the clinical findings. You can just copy and paste this. Again, ask your hospital or your HMO officer if this applies. This is an important field. This is a demo. Okay, so let's enter new diagnosis. Again, you can find this from the patient's documentation page. So let's say this is a working diagnosis from the doctor. The diagnosis is malaria. You want to search malaria for it to link to, you want to be able to link this diagnosis to ICD-11 code. So when you search the diagnosis here, it pulls up some options for you. You want to choose any of these. So let me choose this one and save. Now you can add more than one diagnosis. I'll just progress. Again, ask your HMO officer if this uh is required or is an optional field. So let's say investigation, this is demo. Again, this is a demo, or you can just leave it as blank. Treatment, again, this is a demo. The main part of this activity is adding new service. So you want to see service data, and you click on new service. what happens is it takes you to the form where you can add the service that you are requesting pre-authorization for. So we want to find out if this patient want to request pre-authorization for malaria. As you can see, my search brought out, the option for malaria. If there are other options, it will be, brought out. You want to update the quantity. What quantity are you requesting for? Let's say we want to do 2 malaria consultation. You're actually asking, is this patient eligible to, for this service, and the quantity is 2. This is just an example, by the way. And I'll just keep it, do a comment. This is a demo, and I'll add. So just so you know, you can add more than one pre-authorization service. So let's say I'm also checking that this patient is eligible for, I want to seek for pre-authorization for PCV. So I'll check that too. Let's say it's just one. This is a demo. And I'll add. By the way, this is optional. So now you see that we have 2 services that we're requesting pre-authorization for. You want to enter a comment, or you can leave this as blank again. This is optional. I'll just scroll back up, or I don't really have to, and I'll click create pre-authorization. What I've just done is submit a request for pre-authorization. Now this is a this submission like would be dropped immediately on the desktop of, or on the platform for the pre-authorization officer to process. So let me just go back to process this, and then we'll continue the demo. Be right back. Welcome back. So this pre-authorization request has been processed, and it's time for us to I'll just explain in detail what to expect, after your pre-authorization request has been processed. As you can see, the pre-authorization status is complete to approval complete, which means that it has been approved. You can see the approval or the pre-authorization code here. Um, and when we scroll down to the services that we added, which is the main bit of this particular documentation, you can see that PCV was rejected. If you click on the review here, okay, you don't need to click. When you look at it, you say this diagnosis does not require pre-authorization PCV investigation. That is why it was rejected. If you check the second service, malaria, remember we requested for 2 quantity. By the way, this is just a demo, 2 quantities of or 2 malaria investigations. And when we click on this, you find that the HMO has agreed to pay just one for 1 malaria investigation. So if you check the details of the review, you can see that the agreeable quantity is 1. The agreeable quantity has been adjusted to 1. It has been adjusted to 1, meaning that whilst you requested for 2, we can only pay for 1. So this is the agreeable quantity, this is the agreeable amount that applies to this particular pre-authorization or this particular service. Now we can tell that this pre-authorization, so you can decide to reapply for PCV or chat with your HMO officer to discuss why PCV is necessary, for this patient based on the diagnosis that you've added earlier. This is how you can make pre-authorization requests on the Healthstack platform. Thank you.